Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have announcements, and our announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Regular council meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, January 21st, 5:30 p.m., and Tuesday, February 4th at 5:30 p.m. We have a work session that's scheduled for Tuesday, January 14th at 5:30 p.m., and a special work session that's scheduled for Thursday, January 16th at 6 p.m., and this is a continuation of our visioning sessions. And then we also have an all-day work session that's scheduled for Friday, January 31st at 9 a.m., and that meeting will be held at the Nicollet Inn Boardroom here in Burnsville. All meetings of the council are held here in the council chambers. And I also want to let everyone know that following this city council meeting, the council and staff will gather for a holiday get-together at Morgan's Farm to Table this evening after the meeting. No official business will be conducted. Official businesses will be conducted at this meeting. So, and now the next item on the agenda is citizens' comments, and this is the opportunity for anyone in the audience to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that's coming before us. And we do have a resident that is interested to speak this evening, and that's Ms. Ostenso. Ms. Ostenso, if you can come to the podium, please give us your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Ostenso, 1823 West 140th Street, right off of County 5 and 140th, in Burnsville, of course. The purpose of my coming and wanting to come to this meeting are threefold. The first one is lack of transportation, and I found that out that I couldn't even get here except Ryan Peterson was kind enough to bring me, because our supposed new thing called Connect doesn't work either, because it's an app on your smartphone, which I don't have because I don't have internet on my smartphone. I have internet at home when I get my new computer hooked up, but it's not going to do me any good. Well, it would maybe, but I don't know how late they operate because I didn't find that out. So the transportation problem. I've lived here 6 years as of September 20th of this year. I've had some friends, take me places, but I can't rely on them for something like this or other evening things because either they work or aren't home from work. They're younger families, the people that I know, and they have their children and need to, make food and, focus on their families. It just kind of chagrins me that it almost comes down to where you almost have to buy a car to even live in this city and get somewhere. But the point being is I can't and haven't been able to get past the freeway that runs halfway across the city and further, the businesses south, the Y, the post office, the, Valley Natural Foods, Lunds and Byerly's. I'm not going to stand out in 10 to 15 below weather and wait for a bus, a transfer bus. Nobody should have to. And the point being is we should have full transportation across our city. That's my one major point. The next one is the city sidewalks. I'm aware that we've got a lot of sidewalks, and, you know, once the snow gets shoved onto them, like on County 5, that's the county's, you know, scenario. But twice this year, I was coming home from Red Wing and I had a suitcase. There was 8 inches of ice and snow on the sidewalk. I had to go back to Cub and wait till somebody that I know there took me home. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I have 1 block to walk to get from 140th up to McAndrews. And when there's ice and snow, as there have been twice now this year, because the county shoves it right up and over onto the sidewalk, I can't get anywhere. Even when the weather's turned nice, which it does about a day and a half later, and you know, lots of ice and snow is still on the sidewalk. So that's another scenario. And I'm not the only one, because I've had people comment to me without me even saying anything about it, you know, at different places that I go to, like Cub or like the hardware store or something. And my God, those roads are just awful this year. I've never seen it this bad, not being taken care of. And that's not on my end, because I don't drive. I don't have a car, so this is somebody that's driving. So there's another scenario. Ever since I've lived here, I haven't really felt a part of this community, because I don't feel it is a community. The shopping is very poor, and the shopping I'd like to get to, I can't get to in the south part of our city. And I know I'm not the only one. You know, there's families that have 1 car, and that person has to get to work, doesn't get home. They have to pick up their children from daycare. Needless to say, that person that's still left at home can't get anywhere. And so these, you know, that's a community. That's a real community when you provide those kind of services. I was in Red Wing 3 times this year, 2 later into the fall, once for my birthday in October, once for Thanksgiving. They have a service that provides transportation, not big buses like we have, because it's a smaller community, but kind of like on the order of the Darts-sized bus, but they're for the public. And they've got certain times of the day that they operate, but you can call and, you know, find out where they're going to be in the city. And they, you know, you just are there and they'll pick you up. And it's $1.50. $1.50. One, you know, to and from where you go. I'm just flabbergasted that a city of this magnitude does not have these kind of services. Now, Mr. Peterson here just told me that, you know, as far as like, you know, shopping, hopefully it's going to get better. But I don't want to go to the Mall of America every day. I don't want to go to Shakopee. I don't want to go to Apple Valley. I want to live and shop in my community. And that's where my issues lie. Thank you.
Thank you. So I had introduced you to Councilmember Keeley, and he will take your concerns to the MBTA. He sits on the board, and we'll talk to them about that. With regard to the streets and the sidewalk, you're talking about county roads. Mr. Peterson is our Public Works Director.
I know, he told me.
And he does a great job for...
I'm not saying he doesn't,
No.
but the sidewalks.
I understand, but
Yeah.
he'll have a conversation with the folks at the county who takes care of that.
All right, thank you.
And so that's something that we can do. So my one question to you is this. What would make you feel like that you belong here and that you are in a community?
Just, you know, I mean, other communities of this size had what was called, you know, a service, or I don't even call it a service. They had, you know, I can't remember what it was called, where somebody, you knew right from the start that I was moving in because, you know, the house was sold to me. You had my information. You had who I was. Nobody came to greet me. Not even people from the Townhome Association. Now, they should have done it first and foremost, but they did not. but there should be welcome wagon, that's the term, the old-fashioned welcome wagon.
Was there one in Egan when you lived there?
I was only there for a year, less than a year,
Okay, so they didn't provide that.
no.
Yeah.
not
We
mine.
used to have a welcome wagon group, and it was a group. It wasn't a city effort, but this was back in the early 90s
Well, that's
and
not
80s.
doing me any good, is it?
No, absolutely, but I'm trying to get at the point of helping you to feel like you're a part of the community, because we have a wonderful senior.
I don't want to be labeled. I
No,
don't
no.
consider myself a senior, old, or any of those things, because I don't want to be. So I don't like being even approached in that manner.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Forgive me.
It's okay. You don't have to be
Because,
forgiven.
just getting to places and also a community of people who are perhaps like you, who are not working outside of the home at this point
That's
of their
the term.
lives.
At this point, I could be, but
Yeah.
I don't want to
but-
be.
Yes, but that then they're friends and you can drive with one another. And we do have darts. And I know that you don't like it because you and I have talked about that.
No.
And you didn't like Metro Mobility, so,
Well, I didn't even try it because I don't think I should have to, because
Okay.
I am not handicapped.
okay.
Nor do I have any health problems at all.
Okay, very good. And so, thank you for coming in
Thank
and
you for
sharing
having
your
me.
concerns.
Thank you.
And Councilmember Keeley will take your concerns to the board of the MBTA. And I hope that a time will come that you will feel like you are a part of our community and that you belong here.
Well, just so you know, it had gotten pretty much so bad that after being in Red Wing this past year, I actually thought about moving there. And that's not right. I shouldn't have to feel that way.
Yes,
So I'm just letting you know, the ins and outs of the whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is additions to the final agenda, and this is for emergency items only. Ms. Muscovy?
No, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council? May I have a motion for the consent agenda then?
Nope.
There are no items.
You were just doing additions to the final agenda.
There are no additions to the final agenda,
Right,
and so I move on to the consent agenda.
right.
Okay?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. And the motion carries. There are no items on the regular agenda, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
Motion to approve. Second. To approve adjourned.
There's a motion and a second. Yeah, you're seconding
So
rather
sure
than.
it's clunky.
Yeah, you said approve. Oh, he wanted to make the motion.
He did, and I said.
Keely makes all
Oh, okay. All right. Councilmember Workman makes the motion, second by Councilmember Keeley. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay, and the motion carries. Good night, and thank you for being with us. Happy New Year.